In this take, I want to talk about the Clippers going up against the Timberwolves tonight, give a little bit of a preview, and then give my take on the situation. Before that, though, please like, subscribe, also hit the notification bell, just so you get the newest and the bonus content first. We put out content every day, so you won't miss any content here. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, the Clippers are a team that's trying to stay afloat right now. They're not a team that's actually gelling the way they're supposed to. They're not a team that's on the same page offensively the way they're supposed to. They are playing pretty well on defense, as I said before in my previous videos. They're not playing awfully bad, but they're not playing their best. But I mean, defense, you could look at a lot of things. Of course, Kawhi isn't there. You could say the same thing about the offense. Kawhi isn't there. But Kawhi shouldn't make overly that much of a difference in regards to your energy, your effort, and how you're going into games with the same game plan. And that's not where Kawhi is affecting the game. See, the energy, they have to play energy on both ends of the floor every night, no matter who the opponent is, and they can't take any games off, because if they do, they'll find themselves losing games that they haven't, losing games that they shouldn't, like they did against the Cleveland Cavaliers a few nights ago, losing, I think, 92-79 at home, which is really bad. But see, this is the point with the Clippers. You got to realize every game counts as your last game. Every game is a playoff game for you, because you don't have your main superstar who makes up for a lot of issues, and you don't have one of the best players in the league who can actually help put the team in better position to be a contender and play like a contender. So that means everybody has to chip in the same way they did last year in the playoffs. And so far this season, they haven't done that. And when you think about this team has a lot of upside, has a lot of talent, but it also has, potential for disappointment if they don't find themselves, finding their rhythm, so they can, get into a groove and find a lineup that they can actually stick with, that Ty Lue really likes, to keep this team afloat and keep them playing on the level they're supposed to play on and beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Because honestly, if you look at their schedule since they've started the season, it's been fairly easy. Only the hardest team I think they really had to play was the Warriors, because honestly, outside of them, you played the Blazers twice, you played Cleveland, you played the Thunder, I think you played Memphis. You haven't really played anybody like substantial, a big name like the Miami Heat or the Bucks or, the Nets or the Lakers, or, even though the Lakers are not doing that well themselves, but you haven't played a big name team as of yet. You see what I'm saying? You haven't even played an Atlanta Hawks or a New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? You haven't even played a team like that, or the Charlotte Hornets yet, which I think that's coming up on their schedule in a few days. But this is what I'm saying. You haven't even played some of the premier teams or the teams that look like they're up and coming. And you have a 2-4 record against mediocre teams to poor teams that shouldn't even be on your radar. And this is what I'm saying about the Clippers. They have to find a way to, not look past games, but play the game you're in and focus on the job at hand and execute the plan and beat teams you're supposed to beat. Now, tonight they're going against a team like the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are definitely an up-and-coming team. The way they look, Anthony Edwards is really good. I like him. I think he's a really good, young, talented player. Of course, Karl Anthony Towns, I'll say he didn't live up to potential in regards to what a lot of people thought he could be, but he definitely still is like a star-type player in the NBA. And plus, he's definitely an all-star caliber player, so that's definitely good enough to, help you win some games there. And plus, they got some other, good, pieces on the team, but at the same time, the Clippers played them twice back-to-back, so they definitely have an opportunity here to go on a 2-game winning streak, and I believe that the Clippers will go on a 2-game winning streak. I think tonight's game is going to be a very high-scoring game, like 119 to 111. I think Clippers will take it. I think it'll be close for a while. I think, Minnesota put up a good fight, but I do think the Clippers will find themselves winning this game ultimately and find themselves, adding on to the win column. Now, I'm not going to say I would be overly shocked if the Timberwolves beat them one of these games, but I don't think they should. I think the Clippers should basically go in there and put their foot down and hit the gavel and say the situation is over with and it's done, because teams like this, schedules the way it is right now, the way your schedule is now, it favors you. So because it does, you have to go out there and win these games. You can't flail and lose these type games, because if you do, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you don't want to be, looking up while everybody else or other major teams are in the playoff picture and you're out of the playoff picture, trying to just find your way through the season so you can have a decent enough record for Kawhi Leonard to want to come back and play for the team so they can make a run in the playoffs. Because if they don't stay afloat, I mean, now you got to look at, will Kawhi Leonard come back if they're too far down the seedings to try to help them come back and win when they can be a much better team based upon the talent they have on the team and the way they played last year in the playoffs, which everybody expected them to come out this year and kind of blast off and kind of surprise a lot of people, including the analysts and all the ESPN rankings and all the disrespect the Clippers got in the offseason. You're not proving them wrong. You're actually proving them to be right so far. You're 2-4, and you have a very favorable schedule, and you look like a so-so team, and you look like you're just playing individualized basketball, take-turn basketball. No movement, no ball movement, no consistency, no efficiency shooting. Everybody goes from night to night from shooting poor percentages. It just really looks bad on the Clippers right now. I mean, when you look at the Clippers right now, even playing a team like the Timberwolves, you would think, you don't want to say anything is guaranteed. You don't want to say any victory is guaranteed. But I mean, in this situation here, you would think the Clippers would definitely prevail, definitely would have the better opportunity as the team that should come out on top tonight against this team. Now, this is a game that comes on tonight at 8 o'clock. So it's definitely a little bit different of a time schedule for the Clippers, but they did have a day off to kind of like settle in and everything like that. So you're on the road against the Timberwolves at a 8 o'clock game. So it's definitely going to feel like an earlier game for the Clippers, like, maybe like a 5 o'clock game for them, seeming like, to a degree, or a little bit earlier than what usual, because most of their games, come on a little later, in regards to, anybody that lives outside the West, of course. But at the same time, I definitely got family that lives outside the West, so I definitely hear about the time frame and the time schedule of how the Clippers play all the time. So, when them playing a team like this on the road, and even though the time schedule is different, I don't think that makes much of a difference. But they were making that out to be an issue last year when the Clippers play at a certain time. It's some type of issue. I think Skip Bayless was one of the main ones that was talking about it last year in regards to it's just like a jinx towards them. But whether it's a jinx or not, the Clippers have to find themselves to win this game. They have to find themselves to come out in this game to be more aggressive than the Timberwolves, and they can't let the Timberwolves smack them around in the beginning. The problem with the Clippers is, or should I say another problem is, they start really slow in a lot of games. They find themselves playing poor, or one of their main players plays so poor in the first half. In the second half, the lead is either insurmountable, or it just takes so much for the Clippers to come back. They don't have enough to finish games off and finish games out, beating teams they're supposed to beat, because they put themselves in bad positions and bad situations. Now, hopefully the Clippers will not make that mistake going forward this time. Hopefully they take advantage of the 2 games they play against Minnesota back-to-back times and get 2 victories and build some confidence in regards to, their winning ways and getting on a winning streak. But now, if you're a Clippers fan, you have to look at, not only every game counts, but they need Paul George to be good every game. They need every player that steps on the floor to be good every game. But I know as a lot of Clippers fans, they want to see Brandon Boston and some of the other young guys come in there too. I know Ty Lue is definitely probably going to try to implement those players here soon, but of course we have to see if he does. But I'd like to see if other players can, contribute as well, because the Clippers need all the offense they can get just to be a little bit more consistent. I mean, you need every piece you can get if you're missing somebody like Kawhi Leonard. This guy's a top 2 player in the league, top 3 player in the league when healthy, and to me the best player in the league. But the Clippers are going to have to find a way to find that rhythm, and that's all it comes down to. Tonight should start where they go on the road against the Timberwolves and find their rhythm, and hopefully they can continue to run with that and take it throughout the season, and hopefully it can get them in a place where they want to be by the time the season's in. But that's my take on the situation, though. Leave any comments in the comment section as always, and we'll talk about it. And hey, Cali out.